We're going to take a look at creating 3D cells, which is the same basically as for creating a 2D cell, except that the orientation of the cell will be that of the view in which it was created. Now, this can lead to some confusion. Typically, you expect the cell to be in its correct orientation when placed, but this will only happen if we insert a 3D cell in the same orientation in which it was created. So to avoid frustration, a well-organized naming system is a really good idea. You might also keep in mind that when creating a 3D cell, the placement of the selection fence becomes quite significant. Remember from Module 5 that a fence in 3D defines a volume in the view, and you must consider the locations of the back and front clipping planes in order to exclude elements that you don't want to be part of this cell. So let's go ahead and create a couple of cells, and you'll see exactly what I mean. So I'm looking here at my bushing drawing, and we see all 4 standard views of the bushing. Now I'm going to start here in the top view. And to create a cell, of course, we need to first place the origin of the cell. I'm going to place it right there just for convenience. So that's done. Then we need to place a fence to select the elements for the cell. Now, like I say, I'm creating this in the top view. So that's the orientation in which it's being created. Let's go and open up cells. Here's my cell dialog box. Create is available to me, so I can create the cell. And let's call this top. We'll create it, and the top cell displays. Now, what's critical here are the 4 views of the cell. We have the top and the isometric and the right and the front. Of particular importance, though, is the top left display here. This particular display is the view in which it was created. So that's the orientation that you must insert the cell. So if you see a cell like this with an obvious top display in the top left corner, then you must place this cell in the top view of your design. If you don't, then you'll have some quite peculiar results. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to create another one, so I just can move that off to the side. This time I'm going to create a cell of the isometric view. So bring back my cell creation. Create is active. Let's call this one ISO, and we'll create that. ISO shows up. Note now that the ISO view is in the top left here. So seeing that, you would want to place this cell in your isometric view of the design file. If you don't, you'll have quite peculiar results. I'd like you to create your own cells in the same manner from a 3D object, doesn't matter what it is. Create a top cell and create an ISO cell, and then insert those cells into different views in your drawing, and just see what happens. After all of that, keep in mind that this top left display is critical and should be used when inserting it into your drawings. Now, essentially the same thing goes for placing 3D cells into a 2D design or 2D cells into a 3D design. Again, what's important is the orientation of the creation view and the orientation of the placement view. So long as those are coincident, then there's no problem at all. So you might try that too. Place some 3D cells into 2D design and vice versa.